長官ユナイテッドエンパイア今日は試合があったそして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるってよみんなブローキンケーブルポッドキャストよろしく
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our reigning, defending, Broken Predictions champion, King Rome. How you doing tonight, sir?
Jeff, when the revolution started, less than 5 years ago, I remember sitting there, night one, sitting there with a good friend of mine, and we're making this joke, right? I was a collapsed, falling out of love with wrestling fan due to WWE and me being in that bubble. When I'd heard of AEW, there was an alternative, and that alternative intrigued me, and I went out of the wrestling bubble that I was stuck in and went and watched this first AEW. And I'm sitting there with my friend, and as the show went on, that initial show is the pitch, the idea of what AEW is and what it can be. And I remember watching this show, and just with my friend jokingly, I'm all in. And I took $10 out of my wallet, sat it on the table. My friend upped it, took a 20 out of his wallet, sat it down on the table. It got to a point where I was we got way far into the joke where I was grabbing my car keys, throwing it on the table. I'm all in. You don't fucking understand how all in I am on this company. And here we are, less than 5 years later. And the news broke last night that AEW All In, last night, according to WrestleTix, reached 80,846 tickets distributed, passing the real number for WrestleMania 32, which was the number one set show for, attendance in a paid attendance show of 80,709. So All In is officially the biggest show in the history of professional wrestling with a paid gate. And I think that it is a beautiful moment. A moment that last night I was on cloud nine, I was super hyped. And then throughout the day today, completely just reflecting on the weight, the gravity of the fact that within 5 years, what this company has been able to accomplish is nothing short of spectacular. And so I'm doing absolutely excellent.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that one, man. For a company that's only 4 years old, they're almost 5, but to only be 4 years old and to be able to take the claim of the largest paid crowd in wrestling history, that's a big deal. And, the people out there that want to call them the secondary promotion, you might start thinking twice about using certain words, because even though they may not be up there in terms of revenue and all of that stuff, they're getting there. They're gonna get there.
Look, I mean, we say it, we talk about it, but people, unless you're a bad faith argument actor, those people need to realize that yes, WWE makes a lot more money and is a conglomerate in the entertainment industry compared to AEW. They have a 50-year head start. I'm not really sure if if you sit here, you're comparing the two in terms of success levels. If anything, you should be, that is a feather in the cap of AEW just to see how far they've come. I mean, keep in mind, WrestleMania 32 was the record holder. 32 WrestleManias in, and obviously many more years than 32 for WWE. For AEW to come in under 5 years and just smash that record. I don't know, man. It's a beautiful moment. I'm so unbelievably excited for All In, especially watching this episode of Collision tonight, where there is just such a... I think this episode of Collision is a mixed bag. There's some stuff I really liked, and there's some stuff I really didn't. But at the same time, just the vibe is just on cloud nine. And I also have really enjoyed that the Fed fans coming out of the woodwork trying to make a big deal, like, well, WrestleMania 40 is drawing 90,000. I'm like, 2-day event, so nice try. Yeah. I understand that the level of copium needed, the mental gymnastics we're doing, very impressive. Kudos to you, sport. But Jeffers, it is a 2-night event, and so
how many does the link hold?
It's a great question. I think, I don't know exactly how many. I think it's like 55,000 it holds.
I was gonna say, they can't claim anything on this WrestleMania because it don't hold enough.
No, I think the link, I want to say 55,000. I could be wrong on it.
It's somewhere around there.
But I love that they're just like, well, we're gonna lump these two shows together as one. It's like, no. It doesn't work that way. I'm sure there's plenty of people that are going to both nights of WrestleMania 40. They are probably selling them as dual packages. So, nice try. Again, pat on the head. Look at you go. The Raj Giris of the world and all these fucking losers and nerds. I can't fucking stand them. But anyways, I'm doing fantastic.
That's good to hear. Let's go to chat and say what's up to everybody. Welcome to everybody in chat. We got the Coog, we got Coach Nick, we got Michael Duke. Welcome everybody. Great to see you guys here. Oh, we got the Day Trading Doge dropping all those awesome emotes. Thank you guys for being here. I actually thought this was a great episode of Collision. I loved multiple things here tonight. I really, really enjoyed a few things here. I'm not sure there was anything that I didn't like. I think we would have to get through here and start talking about it and something like that, because I don't remember not liking anything here. But let's go ahead and get started with the Collision Fight for the Fallen. We started off the show with the pre-show promos again. And man, when Jay White mentioned the Peacock, Dalton Castle, I got so happy. I did not think we were ever going to see Dalton Castle and the boys on Collision. They're kind of a Ring of Honor act. Sometimes they're on Dynamite, but I was very happy when I found out this was going on. And we start off the show with Samoa Joe versus the Golden Vampire. And dude, the moment I saw this guy, the Golden Vampire, I was like, who the hell is this La Conquistador looking dude? Like, what the hell? And I didn't see the references to Edge and to, I think it was Kurt Angle as well, right?
Yeah, it was an Edge Kurt Angle segment. The
Conquistador. Yeah, it took me a minute to figure it out, but dude, this was absolutely awesome. The Golden Vampire absolutely obliterates Samoa Joe in about a minute, hits him with a GTS, goes to sleep. CM Punk pulls off the mask and grabs the mic and says, "I accept, bitch." Dude, this was absolutely fucking awesome.
Oh, absolutely. I completely love this segment. I think it was just really awesome. You want Punk to respond to Joe's challenge from last week, and obviously Joe puts Punk to sleep at the end of the last week's Collision. I thought this was just the perfect way, and it was kind of unexpected, obviously, because you're like, oh, Joe's going to have a match against some jobber. And I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, something's up with this guy. This guy, the way his build is very similar. the gear doesn't really match the build, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him, and then he starts beating the crap out of Joe, and I'm like, wait a second. Then he does the running knee into the turnbuckle. I'm like, yep, this is Phil Brooks.
Yeah. The
for
second
sure.
I saw the running knee, I was like, that's Punk. Yep, that's Punk.
Yeah. This is a great moment. I absolutely loved it. I think it sets up perfectly. It's a great way for Punk to respond in a way that lays Joe out, but also
Yeah.
kind of keeps it ambiguous because he sucker punched Joe, metaphorically speaking. You know, Joe was not ready for this to happen.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was great. I think it's a great way to build to this match at All In, which, oh shit, Jeff, I didn't text you. Jeff, did you have the graphic?
The wood graphic.
The one where if I point at the screen, you'll have it ready.
No, I did not. You
I was
never
going to say,
texted me.
if you're not excited for this card, Samoa Joe versus CM Punk with 80,000 fucking people. I can't help you. I'm sorry. I can't help you. Don't look at me for advice on how to enjoy All In. If you look at this card or you look at this match and you're just like, you know what? I'm gonna go watch SmackDown. Like, just go away. Just leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. I should have had that graphic, man. I wanted to make it too.
No, it's okay. I was busy this week, so I forgot to.
All right. Well, as CM Punk's music plays, Samoa Joe stumbles his way up the ramp to the back. Absolutely loved this. Next up, we had Bullet Club Gold, Jay White versus Dalton Castle. Dude, I absolutely loved the match. I was so happy, like I said earlier, when I found out Castle was going to be on Collision. Peacock Power was pumping tonight, and I was seeing it all over Twitter that people were like, I have friends over that are watching with me and they've never watched before, and they're being introduced to Dalton Castle and they love him. Like, this dude's just so lovable. I love Dalton Castle. The guns chasing the boys around the ring was really funny. This was a great match, man.
I agree. It was a great match filled with a lot of entertaining spots. Really enjoy it. I'm a big Dalton Castle fan. I think the guy is, I don't know if I would say criminally underrated, but definitely underrated. And it happens a lot with some of these comedy wrestlers where, like, especially the ones that are really good and can really go,
Yeah.
you know, a la like an Orange Cassidy, et cetera, et cetera. Like, when these guys are good, people do not think about it because they're so caught up with how good the entrance is and how funny they are. It was like, this match is really good. I liked it a
was.
lot. I love the spot where Jay kind of throws Dalton like into the ring, but like Dalton like kind of like 619s his way around the apron to do a Hurricanrana. I
Yeah,
love that.
that was really cool.
I thought
Loved it.
it was clean. Really loved it.
Yeah. After all the interference from the Bullet Club Gold on the outside, Jay White does wind up hitting the Blade Runner to pick up the 1, 2, 3. And dude, the pin, I love the pin on this one where Dalton Castle like looked at the camera from his back and he like reached out like he was trying to kick out. That was a really nice touch there. So it gives me a little bit of faith that they're gonna hone in this camera angles thing for the finish of the matches.
Yeah.
All right. The Bullet Club Gold get on the mic and basically start cutting promos on Kenny Omega. And the Iron Savages show up out of nowhere and basically accept a challenge that I didn't really hear. But the Iron Savages accept a challenge from the Gun Club or the Guns.
Yeah, so Jay White gets on the mic. He's talking about, you know, he says, Kenny, if the god of pro wrestling doesn't want to be exposed, he should remain in the hospital bed. Um, he says, you and your elite friends have deceived the whole wrestling world. The elite is not the peak of Bullet Club. Then the Guns start cutting their promo, and I love promos like this, segments like this, when you can let the entire faction kind of show their charisma and kind of show themselves off, where like they're a unit and they're in unison, but at the same time, like the Guns are kind of over here doing their thing, Jay White's doing his thing, Juice Robinson is in the background doing like his thing. It's great. I absolutely loved it. Love this promo. The Guns do kind of say like, bring them on, we want a challenge, and then out
Okay.
come the Iron Savage, right? And like, look, I don't want to be that, but I don't know what I don't know why for the second week in a row. And like I know you like them.
Yeah.
They do absolutely nothing for me. And the fact that these guys went in there and had like a 10 to 15-minute match with Bullet Club Gold blows me away. I don't think that they were bad in this match. I thought this match was fine, but I'm left here like in the kayfabe, in the storyline, asking myself, how the fuck for the second week in a row are the Iron Savages hanging with a team? Like if that's how strong Tony Khan feels about them, I don't know where the hell they've been because they've
They
been
kept getting
doing nothing.
injured.
They weren't injured.
Well, they were on Dark for a while, and then one got injured, and then when he came back, the other one got injured.
Oh,
But I see what you're saying. But I mean, didn't you notice
or
the crowd laughing at almost everything they did? Like the crowd really enjoyed those guys.
I mean, the crowd kind of got up for them, which was cool. Again, they don't do anything for me, and for me personally, there were things I liked after this match, but for me, this was where for the first time of the night, like for me, the momentum just kind of grinded to a halt, where it was just like, we opened really strong with the Punk thing. Thought that was great. I thought Jay White and Dalton Castle was great. I thought that the Bullet Club Gold promo before this match was great. And then they go 15 minutes, and I'm like, did this need to go? Like, why did this go 15 minutes? And like, if you were gonna do this match, go 15 minutes. Was anyone else available? Because I don't know. I can't sit here with what I've seen from AEW programming and believe that the Iron Savages took it to the Acclaimed and lost, and then took it to Bullet Club Gold the next week. Like I just it didn't check with me. It doesn't fly with me.
I had no problems with it. I feel like they're trying to, introduce a new tag team here. They're not necessarily new because we all remember them as Bear Country, but I like the guys, and I didn't have any problem with it. We need somebody to go out there and lose to these guys, and I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, for me, like, look, I'm not gonna hate on the guys seizing an opportunity. I mean, if they're gonna get booked, I mean, I think that for the opportunity they were given, the match was fine.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. Um, but again, I just kind of left myself wondering why this got as much time as it did, and yeah, I was just kind of confuzzled
I'm
just
gonna go
watching
out
this.
on a limb and say because FTR wasn't actually here to do whatever they were going to do.
That is a fair point. We're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. Watching it, I was just like, yeah, the match was fine, but
Yeah, because we'll get to the main
why?
event, and like if it's because of FTR, you couldn't have pushed it in to the main event. Like I think this would have been the spot where they
Yeah,
made up for the couple minutes, whatever.
I just would have put someone else in this match. I don't know. I don't
Let's
know.
see what happens with these guys. Maybe they'll grow on you.
They've been around for a few years and they haven't. So
The new
I'm
whole new
not
gimmick though.
holding my breath.
But anyway,
Yeah,
Juice Robinson hits whatever that finisher was. They didn't even call it anything. Picks up the 1, 2, 3. And next up, we had a really, really nice House of Black video package for Billy Gunn. They were carrying around his boots, talking about, basically burying him 6 feet under. This was good.
yeah, man. So basically, they have a ceremony, a funeral for Billy Gunn's boots. Malachi Black is speaking. He says, the definition of a funeral is to observe a dead person before burial. And Billy, that's what you are right now. I feel like I'm watching a dead person
Wow.
before burial. Powerful. And Malachi's talking about like what the afterlife is believed to be um in different cultures. And in one of them he says that they view it as you just kind of live your life, but it's more of like a shadowy version of your life. And Malachi's like, Billy, that's exactly what you've been doing, living in a shadow of what you once were. You're a man with nothing but a father of immorality, and lies. He says, rest in pain. The boots are destroyed in trash.
Yeah,
Excellent.
this was good, man. This was really good.
Excellent. This brought me back. Because again, I'm watching this Iron Savages match. I'm not feeling it. I don't know why these guys are on my TV right now. Um, but then I was like, really cool. I
Yeah.
love this.
Really good. Next up after that, we had an absolutely awesome segment here for La Facción Ingobernables. Basically, we had Jose sitting on the phone, and he said, Roosh wants me to document this phone call for some reason. So he's got a camera set up, and he's on the phone with Roosh, and Roosh is absolutely pissed that La Facción has been losing since he's been gone. And he says, I want everybody to meet up down in Mexico now. And we just have an absolutely hilarious segment of Vance and the other guys from La Facción getting drunk down in Mexico, and then having a white van with some dudes in black masks show up, and they throw black hoods over everybody's heads and throw them in the van. I loved this. It was very AAA.
Yeah, so this is again this was a back-to-back, like really well done video segments. Um, this was really good as well. I really enjoyed this. This is awesome. It was well shot, well made, great idea, really well done. Obviously, Roosh, it's a way of getting him back in here after taking time away due to family stuff with kid being born and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, this was dope. This was super dope.
It was very,
Absolutely.
very good. And, Cougar, resident Lucha fan, man, he loved it too as well. So, they nailed it when the Lucha fans liked it. I like how they came across with the fact that Roosh isn't okay with the people in his faction losing. Like, he's pissed. You know what I mean? I really liked how they definitely got that idea across that Roosh is mad that his dudes are losing,
Sure.
and he's not gonna stand for it. I think we're gonna see Roosh come back and some people just get their asses whipped, dude.
Oh yeah, for sure. Look, man, I think when Roosh re-signed, he basically signed himself up for for top guy booking. I
Yeah,
really think so.
absolutely.
Dude's super talented. Could definitely be one of the top heels in the company. Do it. Do it.
Absolutely. All right, next up we had a Ricky Starks promo. Really good stuff here from Ricky. Basically says that he's going to be going out there as a manager tonight, and Big Bill steps into the frame, man. I was like, "Oh shit, that's pretty fucking cool." There's no rhyme or reason to it, but I'm not necessarily bothered by that. Like, if you were in Ricky's shoes where you were forced to have to become a manager just to be on the show, you would go looking for a big bad monster. You know what I mean? And it does feel like Big Bill's kind of been out for hire. He was with the firm, and then he was with, who else? And then he was with the Moguls. You know what I mean? So it feels like Big Bill's kind of like a mercenary out there. So even though there's no rhyme or reason to it, you can rationalize it, right?
Yeah, for sure. I was actually going to say that is that in Big Bill his entire AEW run, he's just been a gun for hire.
Exactly. Yep.
So it makes sense for Ricky to come to Bill and just say, "Hey, look, man, I need a guy to manage." And he's just like, "Yeah, I mean, it'll pay." So,
Yeah.
I think this is great. Now they do have some clarification, and we had actually talked about this last week.
Yep.
So Ricky says that Shivani messed up last week by saying he was suspended for 30 days. The suspension was a 4-week suspension, which was so it was 28 days, which was funny because I did that math on the show last week, and I was just like, "Oh, okay. Well, I thought they would be setting up for All Out, but like I guess not." But so yeah, they are setting up for All Out. And I don't know if this was a mistake. I don't know what level this mistake was made, so it's kind of not bueno if it was like a higher up mistake. But if Shivani said 30 days,
So I'm sure someone had said 4 weeks and someone was like, oh, that's just a month. So like in the transferring of the information, they just changed it to
right?
a month, and then they were like, damn it.
Yeah, right. That was my thing because again, he did that promo on a Wednesday. So if the suspension was handed out at the beginning of a week, which was a Monday, like it makes sense the
Yes.
way it was probably originally pitched. So I think you're right. What happened was that they told Shivani it's like, hey, he's got a 4-week suspension he's serving. Make sure you convey that in your promo. Um, so Ricky says that he says he is eligible to wrestle it all out. Ricky says he's gonna bring chaos. And then we get this video package. And Ricky said he lost himself. He said the amount of kindness I have is the same amount of chaos I can bring, and I expected them to like come across the screen to be like absolute cologne
Dude, it
by
was
Calvin
such a
Klein.
clone. Yeah.
Like it just seemed like a commercial for some sort of
Like
perfume or cologne.
absolute de toilette.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. But immediately after was Big Bill with Ricky Starks in his corner versus did I get this name right? It was Derek Neal.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I, out of choice, chose not to write his name down
Yeah, because he
because
was getting absolutely squashed. I know it was Derek something, but he gets his ass absolutely handed to him. Big Bill, big choke slam, 1, 2, 3. And Ricky Starks still has the belt from Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and he proceeds to absolutely whip Derek's ass. This was great, man. I actually love the way that they've done this whole suspension thing, but keeping Ricky on the screen. Love it.
so I said this last week, and I'm gonna say it again because it's a if it's gonna be a common thing, then it's definitely gonna be an issue that I'm gonna continue to have with. Um, this was the first of two squash matches.
Yep.
Um, my limit's one, and like that's not counting Rampage. Like between Dynamite and Collision, I'm okay with like one squash. If you're doing two, especially two on one show, I'm gonna take issue. If it was that much of an issue, tape it for Ring of Honor. You shouldn't have got rid of Dark or Elevation. Like I don't know what to tell you, because like obviously you don't want Rampage to just be an hour of squash matches, but it's like, look, man, you can't do this, especially on Collision on a night where, like we've talked about it, Collision's going to compete. The competition on Saturdays is way more than the competition on Wednesday. Like if you like when college football starts, when other things start picking up, and there's a lot more competition on Saturday nights, what are you going to do? You're not going to win the ratings on Saturdays if people know that it's like, oh, it's just gonna be like two or three squash matches. Now, like there is
Yeah.
something about this Collision structure that we'll talk about when we get to the main event that I really like, but and there's stories being told here, so like it gets like a slight pass, but there was no need to have two squash matches. This was the second Collision in a row that was like this. And also, they didn't really advertise a lot of matches, which tells you that they knew they were going to do these squash matches. These probably weren't last minute ideas. So yeah, that's an issue that I'm definitely going to continue to hold with Collision, especially after the really strong first 5 or 6 weeks that we had of the show. Um,
So I didn't have a
okay.
huge problem with the squash matches on Collision, except for tonight because we're a week ahead of a pay-per-view. If this is just any old Collision, I'm fine with the squash matches. I used to love them as a kid. Whenever someone would come out like Goldberg and just fucking murder somebody, I was cool with it. But being a week away from our pay-per-view, like, yeah, I'm not into the squash matches right now. You know what I mean? I want more adding stories to this pay-per-view. Give me more stuff for the pay-per-view.
And like again, I can get the devil's advocate argument for it. Again, like they were telling stories in these squash matches. They are a week away from a 2 week stretch of two pay-per-views, one of them being the biggest show you've ever done. So like I can also sympathize with like maybe there's some sort of strategy here where it's like we just don't want to push guys because we don't want people to get hurt.
Yeah.
Um I could even understand that argument. So I get it, but
Okay.
we're reviewing this episode of Collision,
Yeah.
and I do not want to see multiple squash match. I don't care if your main event goes 30 minutes every week and it's a banger every week, which it is, and that's amazing. You got one squash match a week. That like, and that doesn't count Rampage. So like, pick either Dynamite or Collision. Give me one a week. That's it. Like we can't. Don't do this. Like again, like if you can still do the what Ricky does at the end of the match, you can still do that with someone. Like, and the same thing goes with the one later on tonight where it was Hobbs. Like you could have done both of those segments with like a more legitimate match attached. You
Yeah.
could have.
I agree with you, but I'm okay with two of them. You know what I mean? I can take one from each show and I'm still all right. But I do agree, especially this week. We're pre pay per view. You know, no squash matches needed right now. But it is what it is.
I think next week we're going to see a lot of squash matches.
Yeah.
I think the week between All In and All Out, it's going to be promos and squash matches out the butt. Like,
I mean,
I
as
don't
long as
even.
there are people that are in the, on the pay-per-view, I'm fine with it. They're like, yeah, I'm going to whoop this dude's ass before we, tune up match. It's fine. Something like that, but
Yeah, I mean, I
needs to
get
make
it.
sense.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we had a really nice Darby Allin promo. This was Darby and Sting getting some revenge on Swerve at his wrestling school. Um, it was a pretty cool package here. I wouldn't call it as much revenge, since they left Nick Wayne basically like in a pool of his own freaking blood there, but it did what it needed to do here.
Yeah, I really like this. I also give AEW some kudos because for a while there, they kind of moved away from this, and it was something that made AEW feel really special. But like now they're kind of getting back into it where, acknowledge the rest of the wrestling world. Not that they don't, but they've especially been doing that. So obviously, Eddie was in Japan, so they talked about that, last few weeks. And then obviously, QT Marshall, QT the God, or LQT, in Mexico, winning gold. Love to see it. That was mentioned on Rampage last night. So again, to get this indie promotion and show that this angle happened on an indie promotion, I thought it was really dope. I actually really liked it.
Yeah, man, I liked it as well. Swerve, how they had Swerve go to Nick Wayne's school, and then they went to Swerve school. It was just really nice rounding out the story here before the pay-per-view. I like it. Next up, we had Willow Nightingale versus Diamante. And, I think we all love Willow. I have not met anyone yet that does not at least enjoy to see a Willow match. This was great. It was, I love Willow matches. And I've been a fan of Diamante since early AEW days. Like, I'm not sure if she's an original, but she's been here a long time. And I've always been a big fan of Diamante, even when she was over in Impact, loved her. So really happy to see her getting to shine over on Collision. I think for 3 weeks in a row now she's been out here. And she put on a banger with Willow. Loved it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's been really cool to kind of get this feud right now on Collision with the Collision half of the women's division. I thought it's been really good, especially from people that have really kind of been grinding in the company for years. I mean, like you said, Diamante, her role in the company was legitimately just Dark and Elevation for years. So to see her kind of get this exposure on Collision on live television, I think it's pretty dope. And like you said, match was really good. So at this point of the match, at this point of the show, though, I really, and I had thought this earlier, but this is when I finally wrote it in my notes, and I was like, we are 1 week back with like look, I understand Ian Riccaboni does not want to work Saturday nights, and it's for a very valid reason, and I love the guy for it. The dude is amazing. He just wants to spend time with his kids and his wife and his family on Saturday. And I really get that and I appreciate that. But holy fuck, Kevin Kelly is god awful. And I'm like, this man is a charisma vacuum at this point. I'm watching this match, and I think the match is good. This is nothing against, obviously, the Willow or Diamante. And I'm just watching it, and even there was like a few moments where like the crowd kind of died down. The crowd was kind of in and out of this match, I feel like. And Kevin Kelly is just like sucking my soul out of my body. I'm just watching this match, and I'm like,
I
Kevin
wouldn't go
Kelly.
that far. He doesn't bother me as much as he does you, but he definitely, for me, he's almost unnoticeable. Like, there's nothing he does that's of note for me. I don't remember
That's the
anything he says that's
problem.
funny. Like, but he doesn't exactly bother me, if that makes any sense.
Commentary is so important in pro
It
wrestling.
is.
It is one of the utmost. People don't think about it until it's not good. You know what I mean? Like when like JR left WWE and we were left with commentary teams like Michael Cole and Corey Graves, and like the amount of times I wanted to just claw my
Yeah.
eyes out.
Like, Michael Cole bothers me. Like, Kevin doesn't bother
He's
me.
terrible.
He's basically non-existent for me,
But that's not a good thing because the commentator's
agree.
job is to embellish what you're seeing. They are meant to hype up what you're seeing, to legitimize what you're seeing, to make you believe what you're seeing, to make you feel involved in the world that you are seeing. And Kevin Kelly does absolutely zero of those things. He stumbles through things,
Agreed. Yeah.
doesn't get things right. He has no momentum when a big hot tag, like, okay, like let's go back to the match you liked tonight with the hot tag. Thank God Nigel was there.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Kelly didn't give two shits about anything that happened on this show. At least it didn't sound like he did. It's just bad. It's just really bad. Yeah, exactly. The Coug said it best. Is like you need a hype man to rile up the TV viewers. And the problem is that Nigel does a great job at that. As we saw when Nigel and Ian were the commentary team, magic, incredible. But I'm sitting here watching this episode of Collision, and I'm just like, man, I really can't stand Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where you're coming from, like when you kind of put it out there, but I don't notice it until it's pointed out to me, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. So yeah, Willow picks up the win in this one with the big Doctor Bomb. I thought it was a great match. We had some distraction casted out there by Mercedes Martinez, who has absolutely turned me around on her. This heel character of hers is fantastic. Absolutely love it. Chris Statlander comes out for the save. That's what led to Willow getting the win here. Great match all around.
Man, I really love Willow and Statlander. I absolutely love this pairing. This is such a home run pairing.
Yeah.
Where it's like these two just fit so well together, and they both just kick so much ass. Like it's this is
and
another
Statlander, she toned down what I was talking about from last week, where she was being a little childish. She definitely got rid of that. I didn't feel that at all. So
I didn't have an issue with that last week. I know you did. It I didn't pick up on that.
It was just weird the way she was. I don't know. Next up, we had what felt like a replacement for what we were supposed to get with FTR. We had a preview of FTR and the Young Bucks. The video package showed like the history of the Young Bucks and the history of FTR in AEW. This felt like it was a little bit of a replacement where we were supposed to have FTR on the show. It was what it was, I guess is what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, for those unaware, Cash Wheeler, Daniel Wheeler, I think his
Daniel
name
Cash
is.
Wheeler, yep.
Yeah, Daniel Wheeler. He was arrested on Friday. Although it happened weeks prior on gun charges, aggravated assault, road rage. He flashed his gun at someone. Real dumb shit. Which, I mean, we could speak on that real quick. Where, like, look, man, like the level of irresponsibility here. Like, I understand. Like, look, man, and there was some discussion in the Discord about how road rage happens and how it's like, look, man, like you don't realize in that moment that you are the bad guy. You are the wrong one because you're so angry.
Now,
and I get it.
We do have to put out there, this is allegedly, because this is absolutely a he said, she said thing. This is literally someone in a car saying that guy in that car showed me a gun. And he says that did not happen. So that's where we're at. You know what I mean?
Sure. And yeah. But like, here's my thing.
If it did,
I'm not even going to talk about the gun charge, right? Like, because again, like you said, it's complete hearsay. We don't know whether it's true or not. Don't know. Not going to comment on that. But what we do know is that regardless of what happened, he did in fact get into our altercation, whether it was an argument or whatever it was, even if it didn't get physical, with another person that he didn't even know. And my follow-up point is like, you are like my guy. You are weeks away, like a week away from one of the biggest matches of all time on one of the biggest shows of all time. Just stay in your fucking car and keep going. Like, you have one job, technically two jobs, the entire roster, the locker room, everybody, every single person in the company. they have 1/technically 2 jobs for this week, and that is do not get arrested and do not get killed. That's it. That's all you have to do. And Cash is just like joining the Bang Bang Gang. Like, we don't know if that's true or not, that last part. But my point still stands where it's like, okay, like, hey man, like, maybe you should not get into an altercation to the point where you're going to be arrested. I'm not telling you how to live your life. Me personally, I don't think even in my most angry moment, I don't think I'm gonna put myself in that position, and I'm not getting paid nearly as much as you are, or have that much on the line. But you do you. I don't know. Anyways, I did not appreciate this segment. I thought the video package was really good. But if you are going to, including on the show itself, say we're going to hear from FTR, I do not want to hear 2 pre-recorded lines slapped on a video package. That is not what that is. And like, look, I can sympathize with you, like, you want to keep Cash off of a live crowd. Okay, like, because you don't know how that's going to go down. He might get some boos. You don't want to ruin the match. You want to let things kind of quiet down. So I get it. All right, well then just say something, like, do something different. Like, have it just be Dax, or don't even say that we're going to hear from them. Do it.
Yep, I agree. And I just want to say something about Road Rage. It's 2023, and there are some absolutely fucking crazy people out there. There is nothing that can happen while you're inside your vehicle that should cause you to want to have road rage like that. It's not worth it. Just calm down, everybody.
Yeah, everybody needs to calm the fuck down. All ends in a week. Again, I said it last week, and I'm still on my high horse. Just like, what are we all doing? Not we. Don't include me in it. What are you all
doing?
Yeah, I'm over here just trying to kill days until we can get to All In, until football starts, until Starfield comes out. I'm over here just trying to bide time until the good shit comes. And everyone else is, you keep that over there. I'm good. I don't need that.
I agree. Next up here, we had Tony Storm backstage with Lexi Nair. And dude, I say it all the time, I'm a massive Marilyn Monroe fan. This new transformation of Tony Storm's look into this crazy Marilyn Monroe character or whatever they're doing, I am absolutely in love with it. It is incredible. I love it.
I mean, yeah, it looks great, but I'm gonna focus more on the promo.
Yeah, I know you're new here. I died when she said, "I know you're new here" to Lexi.
Dude, when she didn't realize that Lexi was the same person that interviewed her last week, she was like, she's like, well, first of all, you're not nearly as rude as that girl that interviewed me last week, so kudos to that, I guess. And I'm just like, but that's Lexi. It's the same person. And she was like, she was real rude to me. And she's like, I know you're new here, but don't question our sisterhood about whether Soraya's gonna turn on her or not. And she also says, and hun, be more prepared next time. Tony Storm walks away, and she also tells her, like, she tells Lexi to fix her face and stop with that stupid look on her face. And
another
Lexi
shoe goes flying.
And then another shoe goes flying. And as you said, like, Tony Storm right now has been killing it. She's been doing right.
All right, next up, Powerhouse Hobbs versus, again, I'm hoping I got the name right, Kevin Manu. The crowd was chanting Kevin heavily. What did you get his last name?
Bro, his last name was Ku, K-U.
Ku? Oh, okay. I don't know where I got Manu from. I have no idea.
That's why I gave you that look.
Kevin Ku. Okay, there we go. So the crowd was chanting Kevin heavily here. Was he a local guy?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, that's kind of what AEW does. When they bring in these extras, they're always like local talent.
Yeah, it had to have been a local talent because he was definitely over with the local crowd here. But he gets squashed as well. This is our second squash of the night. Powerhouse Hobbs absolutely murders this dude. He hits him with the spine buster, but did you notice that he kind of turned the spine buster into a Uranagi? It was like So he picked him up as if it was a spine buster, and then he twisted with only one arm and brought him down like a Uranagi. I thought it was a really cool take on, the spine buster. I'm not sure if he meant to do it that way, but I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. Again, I was disappointed that this was a squash match as well. So like my thing is, I would have let this one be on the show, and I would have had Big Bill face someone else. Because like this makes a little bit more sense to be a squash than the other, in my opinion.
I agree.
But I we'll talk about what I really liked here. I love this Miro segment that followed. So Hobbs is like, "Where you at, Miro? Where you at?" And this video shoot comes up on the screen, and he says, "Hobbs, we have a lot in common. I too used to rely on a book for guidance. I too used to surround myself with distractions. Now I walk alone, even though my heart breaks for her. Um, I'm not here to feud with my God. I'm here to replace him. You pray to me now." I'm
So
like,
good.
oh, fuck.
When he said, "You pray to me now," I was like, oh my God, that was so good.
And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And maybe I misheard it, but I thought that they said that I thought Miro had said All In, but they do later announce this match for All Out.
Okay.
So
before we go to the next up segment, Coog, you got to see this picture I just found. I didn't even know Penta had a daughter, but dude, this picture is badass. So apparently Penta and his daughter, he might be training his daughter. Dude, if she becomes a female lucha, woof, call her like Tres Pentagones or something. Oh, man. All right, next up we had Adam Cole and MJF recap. Kind of just preparing everyone for their match at Wembley. Not much to talk about here, right? We've seen this recap of MJF and Adam Cole a few times already, No big deal there. And next up was time for the main event. Darby Allin versus your TNT champion, Christian Cage. Rome, I want to start off with, I saw a little bit of discourse going on the old Twitter that this match was going too long. And at no point did I think that. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, Darby always gets his ass whooped for 15 minutes. And then we have a great, 5 minutes. Like, what are we talking about here?
So, I mean, I'll start with this. I criticized this episode of Collision and last week's for 2 squash matches. I think it's too many. Still think that. However, there are some things that I do genuinely love about the Collision structure, let's say. Obviously love the cold open. I love that the intro includes people that are wrestling that night. I love a lot of how the show opens, and I also really, really love how the show closes. I said it last week where, they give the main event every week on Collision gets 30 minutes. I think every single one has gotten 30 minutes so far.
I love that.
And yeah, I absolutely love it because number one, you're letting these guys go long enough where it gets a bit of a pay-per-view vibe. I mean, usually on pay-per-view, the matches are a little bit longer. They go a little bit longer. The guys have more time to cook, if you would. And I think that it's great. And obviously, not just a match being 30 minutes isn't what makes it great, but to date, and especially tonight, I agree with this take wholeheartedly. Every week, the Collision main event has stepped up to the plate and gone the 30-minute distance and been incredible. And I think this match is no exception. I thought this match was excellent. I thought it was just incredible. It always continues to boggle my mind that Vince McMahon once made me believe that Christian Cage was mid. I don't think that my reputation should ever recover from that. I'm being completely honest with you all, as I always will be. Christian Cage is incredible. Darby's incredible. Luchasaurus being incredible. This match was just awesome. I also want to take a moment, of our time to just thank Jim Ross, because this man came out here and was like, Kevin Kelly, get the fuck out of the way. Yeah. Nigel, how are you doing, my friend? I'm just like, oh, Thank God. Like JR has been. This is his second week back. I think he's been really good in this main event slot. Last week Ian being there, kind of helped make it. Where like I still didn't think JR was needed. This week in the main event, Jim Ross is absolutely needed. If you're gonna continue with Nigel McGuinness and Kevin Kelly, Nigel cannot do this alone. You cannot put Kevin Kelly out there for 30 minutes with a banger. You just can't. So, Jim Ross, thank you for doing the Lord's work.
I bet you Jim Ross agrees with you sitting backstage. He's probably like, by God, this guy's horrible.
He's terrible. What is he doing?
He's terrible.
That's how JR came back. He's watching the show from home in Jacksonville. He's like, what the hell's going on? Call Tony up. Tony, book me a flight. I'm going to be there. By God.
Oh, shit.
But so some things I really liked about what was going on in this match. JR talks about how back in the 90s he was the one that signed not just Christian Cage, but he also says he signed Edge as well. Christian Cage teases the spear, gets in the corner, does the thing, and I'm like, get him. He does not get him, but then later on he hits the spear, so it was cool. I think Edge is going to AEW. That's just my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's done. I think that, and a Fightful report came out today saying that like a lot of talent who are close to him are like, it's not as as unbelievable or unrealistic as people are thinking. It's very plausible. And there was a comment made in the Discord, I think it was Ed, where Ed was like, he's really loyal to WWE. I don't think he wants to go anywhere else. And I can understand him being loyal to them. Get it? But if your best friend calls, your best friend since you were children calls you, and he's like, bro, you gotta be over here. Like, you're going. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. I'm just being honest. I think that like I don't care how loyal you are to WWE. If your best friend calls you and says like, bro, I'm over here living the best years of my career, like come here and finish your career with me so we can finish our careers together. I don't know. Like I think you definitely got to do it. I think you absolutely have to. So I do think Edge is going to end up in AEW. I do think.
I do as well. I think we at least see him once, if you know.
And well, so like for me, what kind of also does it for me is the fact that he wanted, like, it just seems like that. Like, I don't know, like his last match was like a throwaway SmackDown, and like for me, if he had made it clear that he was going to retire, if he had made it clear like they would like Edge's send off that he got was a very he's going to AEW kind of send off, where it was like some random ass SmackDown, and I understand they were in Toronto, so like maybe okay, but like nobody was talking about that until like a day before, at least in my timeline. Nobody was talking about being a
the Unblocked Tranquilo Club. What?
There you go. There it is.
Confirmed.
Yeah, Christian Cage is like, hey, these are the guys you need to follow on Twitter. It's like, oh, should I block some of these?
This was a awesome match, dude. The coffin drop off the top rope to Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus just catches him out of midair, puts him on the ground. Christian just absolutely murders him with a freaking clothesline. Darby sets up Christian in a chair and climbs to the top rope again. And this is outside the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Darby hits this missile drop kick from the top rope to the outside. I thought he killed himself, dude. He just lands flat on his back on the outside. I don't care that there's a little 2-inch pad. Dude, that had to hurt so damn bad. And I get it. This kid's like, oh, I don't plan on wrestling forever. I get it. But dude, let's try not to cripple yourself in the process, you know?
Yeah, I wrote these two spots in my notes, where I was just like, man, what a dude, Darby Allin. He just goes out there, and I love him for it. Yeah. But like, man, I really hope that this guy's wrestling 10 years from now.
Yeah, me too, man. I mean, immediately after he tries for a coffin drop on the apron, Luchasaurus pulls Christian Cage out of the way, crashes and burns, and this is within like 45 seconds. I,
I just saw a really funny tweet. So I don't know if you saw it, but Raj Giri was trying to play down the All In record, where he's like, well, we don't know what the final numbers of attendance is going to be for All In, so we should at least wait till we see how many people pass the turnstile before we like get all up in. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, so somebody said, despite selling over 80,000 tickets, we are only 1 week away from All In, and no fans have arrived at Wembley yet. Is this Tony Khan's Katrina by Raj Giri? Oh
oh,
man,
that's good, dude. That's a
who
good one.
tweeted this? Hold on, who tweeted this? Shout out to wrestling playlists. PWO Lost.
That was
You are the
good,
man.
dude. That's really
That's
good.
that's really funny. I love that. But anyways, when Darby does this coffin drops, I literally like stood out of my chair because like it just looked like it. Like I even wrote in my notes, it's like there's no way that just doesn't fucking kill you. Like I'm sorry, but like it's one thing to kind of go into like fall into the ring, which we know how wrestling rings are made and stuff, and like that's gotta like how are you breathing
I thought he
after
broke
that?
his ribs minimum.
Listen, I'm obviously no athlete. I remember one time I when I was like 12 or 13, I fell on some black ice, and I'm just laying there like, is this the end of my life? Like I couldn't move for like 5 minutes. No, that's fine. But I'm like like there's no way Darby Allin just jumps off of a high up ledge onto a metal wooden beam on his back. Like there's no way. There's no way that this man does this. And he just like gets up 30 seconds later
Yeah,
like,
two
all right,
count.
next spot. Insane.
It was only a 2 count though for you, right?
Yeah, I kicked out. It was a near
Oh
fall though.
shit.
It was 2.99.
Uh, so Christian does show up
But
with the belt while the referee is distracted by the dinosaur on the outside. Christian smashes Darby with the title, but Darby gets the foot on the ropes for a very, very near fall. Um, Christian hits a really nice sunset flip power bomb off the top ropes, and he nails the spear you were talking about. Nice reference to Edge there. But after the spear, Darby hits a really odd one of his weird roll-ups and gets the 1-2-3 pin onto Christian. And I don't know if I had a problem with this or not. Like my brain wants to be like, Darby should not be pinning Christian clean because he should be being. Is he being portrayed as like a top guy? You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like he should be getting pinned clean, but at the same time, I was like, yeah, go Darby. You know what I mean?
well, Christian's not actually the champion, which is why I'm
I
okay.
agree.
And I think that the dynamic there works where it makes sense for Darby to win. I mean, I I don't think Darby. I'm not gonna say it, but all I'll say is I think it makes sense in the grand scheme of things for Darby to win this match.
Okay, yeah, I agree. After the match, Christian Cage and Luchasaurus just absolutely beat down Darby. He gets a big old choke slam, and Tony Schiavone somehow, I didn't catch how he was in the ring. Was he gonna interview Darby? Is that what was going on there? Okay.
Yep. So Giovanni was about to interview Darby Allin.
All right. So then they beat him up, and then they force Tony Schiavone to count the pin with Christian 1, 2, 3, and then they force him to announce, and still your TNT champion, Christian Cage. I had a blast on Collision tonight. I thought it was great. I think that what I just said is perfect. I had a blast, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I had a really good time with it. Again, I'm looking at Collision, and there's a lot that I really love. I would say it's like a mixed bag where there's a lot that I really love. There's a few things I don't like, but it comes down to the show itself, not necessarily the talent. I think regardless of if there's a pay-per-view next week or not, I don't need this many squash matches. They need to kind of get back to basics and, announce some matches. Like, we went into tonight with 2 matches announced, and that was it. You gotta get some more matches announced. You gotta make sure that the show has a very clean balance of wrestling and promo. Obviously, I'm a story guy. I love my promos. I love my great promos, but you gotta have some action in there with the wrestling. That's how it goes. So, like, let's make sure we don't lose sight of that. But yeah, I mean, it's just great. It was a great episode. I love the way it opened. I love the way it ended. I loved a lot of things in between. Just need them to make some tweaks to the formula of what Collision is, and they'll be good to go.
Yeah, I mean, I love Collision. I love the whole formula they got going on, how they start the show with those pre-show promos. I love how you pointed it out. I actually wasn't really, I kind of noticed it, but I didn't really think about it, that every main event is given a minimum of 25 minutes. You know what I mean? I love the vibes on Saturday night, man. It's just, it's an easy watch. It's a quick 2 hours, and I have a blast every time.
Yeah, I love these main events. Like, seriously, like, you're giving them 30 minutes, and I think I said it last week. I think what I specifically said was, it's like going to a house show. It's like seeing the main event of a house show, where it's like, hey, like, here they are. They're gonna go 30 minutes. Go have a blast. It's like, okay, This is really cool. They're just doing it on live TV. So I'm down. Great.
Yeah, absolutely. On a little bit more of a down note here, man, I'm seeing some videos from this Hurricane Hillary in Baja, California, and there is a literal river in the middle of this town instead of their main road. It is like, this is nuts. So if you guys in California are still, hope you guys stay safe out there. That's going to be wild over the next 24 hours. Everybody be safe.
Yeah, for sure. It's not a bright side, but it's a somewhat bright side. Apparently, it got downgraded to a category 2. It was a category 4 this morning.
Yeah, it is a 2 right now as we speak. Yep.
2. So I mean, that's obviously it's not great, but it's better than a 4. So yeah, absolutely. I know Coach is over there. Coog, I think, is over there. Make sure you guys are staying safe.
Yeah.
Appreciate
the
you
Mexico
guys.
part of California is going to get it real bad. The U.S. side probably going to get a lot of rain. I hope they get all those wildlife sanctuaries evacuated. That's going to be rough.
Yeah.
We shall see. I hope everybody stays safe. That's all I can say. What do we got lined up for Dynamite? Did they give us anything lined up?
Yes, sir. Well, coming up this Wednesday on Dynamite, it is Fyter Fest, sponsored by AEW Fight Forever.
Yeah.
Which I reviewed on the podcast. You can check it out on the Game Room podcast. Please do. For Dynamite, we have Jon Moxley versus Rey Fenix. Jack Perry will be retiring the FTW Championship. The Elite will be taking on Juice Robinson and the Guns, the Elite being Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Chris Jericho and Will Ospreay will do their contract signing for All In. Aussie Open will defend the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships against the Hardys. FTR and the Young Bucks will come face-to-face in an interview. So, hopefully, they said face-to-face very specifically here, just so everyone knows, like, it's not going to be another video package.
Shall see.
Sky Blue will be taking on Ruby Soho. Swerve Strickland and AR Fox will be teaming up to take on Darby Allin and Nick Wayne. Renee Paquette will be sitting down and speaking with Adam Cole and MJF separately. For Collision, very interesting what they did here. They announced, they said 3 things about Collision, which I summed up as wrestlers will be on Collision. They announced an all-star, it's an all-in, all-star 8-man tag. They did not say who is in the match. They just said it's a big 8-man tag that they're going to do on Collision next week. Now, for those that aren't aware, Collision is going to be taped on Wednesday in Georgia, same building as Dynamite. Everyone's going to be there. Yes, including the Elite and CM Punk. Everybody will be in the same building on that night. This, to me, sounds like the Elite are going to make their first appearance on Collision.
Yeah, let's go.
That's just. They also say for Collision next week, we'll hear from the stars in London. So I assume we're gonna get some video packages of wrestlers arriving for London. I'm very excited for Collision next week. And now here's the thing. I'm just gonna say it. Collision next week is going to get a pass from me if it does not have a lot of wrestling. And I know that that's gonna seem weird to some people, but honestly, I would use Collision, and I know they have the 0 hour. I would use Collision as this all-in hype show. Like I want to see all the wrestlers arriving in London. I want to see the wrestlers at Wembley. Maybe a shot of somebody like in an empty stadium, like looking around, like tomorrow, it's fucking going down here. Like I want to feel it in my veins. I want to be like running through walls next Saturday on Collision. They also say that more matches will be announced on Dynamite for Collision, so there will be wrestling. Not saying there's not going to be any wrestling, but yeah, that's what I would want to see from Collision. Now I will say this about the show. So they said that, and I don't know what happened here, but Kevin Kelly says halfway through the show that we were going to get more news about the 0 hour. And I can safely say we got absolutely zero news about 0 hour. There were no new matches announced except for one, which was for the Real World Championship, CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. Jeff, do you want me to run down the announced card real quick, or?
Absolutely.
Okay. Coming up on next Sunday at All In the 0 hour, the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. Aussie Open defending against MJF and Adam Cole. Speaking of MJF and Adam Cole, they were also main eventing the show for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. FTR versus Young Bucks 3, the rubber match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. The Real World Championship will be on the line when CM Punk defends his World Championship against Samoa Joe. Chris Jericho versus Will Ospreay. The Golden Elite, Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, and Hangman Adam Page versus Jay White, Konosuke Takeshita, and Juice Robinson. A four-way dance for the AEW Women's World Championship. Hikaru Shida defending her title against Saraya, Toni Storm, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Fucking Stadium Stampede. Stadium Stampede. The Best Friends, Lucha Bros, and Eddie Kingston versus the Blackpool Combat Club and three mystery mystery partners of their choosing. A coffin tag team match. Darby Allin and Sting versus Swerve Strickland and AR Fox. Officially announced for All Out. Powerhouse Hobbs and Miro, and Luchasaurus defending his TNT Championship against Darby Allin. But more importantly, All In. Jeff, I just don't know if they're not excited for it. I just can't help. This card is incredible. It is shaped up to be something truly special. I am expecting a few more match announcements. I think the 0 hour will probably get like 3 more matches announced for it. I also think that they're setting up for the Acclaimed versus House of Black. That's just what I gather from this. I do wonder what's happened to Andrade, though. But other than that, All In, this card, fucking incredible.
Absolutely. All right, man. You got anything else you wanted to go over here before we get out of here tonight?
No, I think that's pretty much gonna do it. We're good.
All right, man. Well, thank you to everybody in chat that was here tonight. We had the Coog, we had the Doge, we had Michael Duke, we had Coach. Thank you guys very much for being here live with us. And if you're not here live with us, you should be. If you're watching this on the recording later on, try to join us live. We love getting your guys' opinions into the chat so we can make them part of the show. But until next time, Rome, you want to go ahead and close us out, sir?
Absolutely. Well, this has been episode 168 of the Broken Tables podcast. Thank you for everyone hanging out with us, as Jeff said. Thank you to Michael Duke, the Coog, the Coach. I think there was someone else here. The Day Trading Doge. Thank you to everyone for hanging out with us. Thank you. Please leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. Once again, we do AEW reviews. We did the Collision review tonight. The Dynamite review will be coming on Wednesday. Next Sunday is All In, the biggest wrestling show of all time. Jeff, they didn't announce any movie theater things, so I think we're going to be doing the watch along right here. So if you want to do a watch along, you want to be a part of that, a historic watch along, you should definitely be checking us out next Sunday. That's exciting. Wait for that. Game Room Podcast will return on Monday, talking about video games and all the stuff that's going on. Jeff, real quick, just because it's really fun, I don't know if you saw this discourse, but PlayStation fans are so upset about Starfield existing that they are saying that the start screen for Starfield is an indication that the game sucks.
Yeah.
Yes, that is where we are at in the video game landscape.
I'll counter that with I have seen somebody, I'm not going to name names, they accidentally said that they have played 15 hours and have not experienced a single bug. I mean, if that's true.
I saw that as well. And then that person had to be reminded that they're under embargo, so they were just like,
whoops, delete.
Whoop. My bad. Glad he did though. If I was Microsoft, I'm like, hey, it's fine. Shush. Don't say anything. Anyways, so if you like video games and pro wrestling, you're basically in the right place. That's what I'm trying to do. Make sure you subscribe to become a member. You can get some sweet stuff. You get the emojis, the wrestling emojis, CM Punk, Adam Cole, and all the others. You also get a really cool arcade cabinet next to your name, so that way everyone knows that you are the coolest. We will be back on Monday, but until then, see you guys. Enjoy All In Week, man. Just enjoy the fucking moment.
Just fucking enjoy that shit.
Just fucking enjoy it. Like, and I know I'm cursing a lot tonight, but it's just how I feel. Where it's just like, man, just have a great week. Enjoy the show. Enjoy it. Let's go to bed.
Enjoy that shit. Top guys out.